Iqbal is saying is movement, motion. He's using motion and movement synonymously, and the space must be, it is an independent reality. Independent. Okay, so it's not just real but independent space. Sorry, independent reality of space. Independent reality. And the second thing is objectivity of nature. Now, as far as I can see, independent here mean independent of matter. The space must be something separate from matter. That's what seems like for motion to be real. Because if there is only matter and by space, I mean in this context, I think room, or what in Arabic we call al-faragh. So if there is no room, there won't be any motion. If everything is stacked too closely and there's no room, there's no motion. That seems intuitively true. But why space necessarily needs to be independent of matter is not clear, because matter can itself create room. So in that sense, that room or space is dependent on matter. Because matter can be, in different form. It can be solid, it can be liquid, it can be gas. It can in the form of energy as well. So in solid, there's less space. So I think intuitively his claim that there should be room for there to be motion seems plausible, seems true, but they should be independent of matter is not entirely convincing, although probably it is true. And objectivity of nature, so it again depends on what he means by objectivity, but let's say by objectivity, it's not subjective, it is independent reality independent of our subjective inputs or conceptions. But here he seems to be working with a sort of a dichotomy between subjective. If we take him to mean here by objective something which is not subjective, he seems to be working with a dichotomy which is at odds with his Hegelianism. But anyhow, does motion needs nature to be objective? Not entirely clear. Not entirely clear to me, because reality can be objective. Nature can be, say, nature can be subjective, and motion, and then motion can be real. So reality of motion doesn't seem to, not sure, but at least if you think that reality, what we call nature, is there is subjective element to our conception of nature as well. There's subjective element to what we call objectivity is object plus our subject's input. So why does this, for example, nature is not entirely objective? At least the nature which we have access to. Nature is not entirely objective. Why would necessarily be true that motion is not real? if I'm a vet, if I'm a brain in a vet, for example, there are simulations which are depicting motions outside. That doesn't necessarily mean that that motion is not real. It's only mean that that motion is not part of reality which exists in the way which, for example, we think when we think that nature is outside us and independent of us, for example. And it's not the product of some sort of managed stimulation. It's not clear, but I think it's worth pushing this claim. But probably we can grant him the first one more persuasively, more easily. The second one can be granted with caveats. Okay. Now he comes to a critique of Russell's solution. So he said, but the identity of continuity